Hello and welcome back to the next episode in our Pillars of Eternity campaign, playing as Kasemir the Cipher. We're here in the area of Stormwall Gorge, which is just over here on the world map. We've just arrived here and haven't yet explored any of the area, but yeah, we're gonna get cracking and do that. So let's get a hustle on. I guess we'll go this way to start. Got a deer over there. Okay, feral druid. 2 feral druids. Alright, well let's see if we can okay, that's fine. Let's get you to run forward there.
I'm ready.
Just gonna get you over there. Durance, you can use that.
Aye?
I'm ready.
Let's use good. I'll hit that one. What does it do to other people in the area? It does raw damage. Actually, so maybe that is worth using.
Aye?
Combination with that one. And then we'll use that one there. You can just use that on that one. Okay.
What?
Use that.
How may I help?
Let's use... What are they weak to? Pretty much anything. Use that.
Yes?
Shoot that one. You can knock this one down. And what else could I do? Could do corrosive damage. Could try blind them. Fire damage. Let's move out of that. We'll move as well. You know what? Let's beam him.
Yes?
Could hit him.
Following your
Out of there.
Yeah.
Nice. And this one up there. Oh, stunned. Okay,
What?
that's no good.
Huh?
Let's see if I can do that. That's again no good.
What?
I'm ready.
Following your lead.
I won't be able to reach him.
Yes?
I'll do that one. Use my faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably should have used the beam a little earlier, actually, in hindsight. But that's okay. So I get some fine armor and bows. A bunch of fine weapons and armor, very good. And some money, cool. Cool, and what's that? An Elder Lion Fang. Great. Alright.
Slowly now.
Okay, what's up in this corner? Settler's arrow. Okay, nothing up there. Let's go down here, I suppose.
Eyes open.
Another deer. Wallen's Cradle. What's this? The bright sun casts its light on a pattern in the ground. You kneel to get a better look. The stone here has been carved with a few simple shapes. A small circular indentation marks the center, and a much larger circle surrounds it. You see what appears to be writing above the two circles. Alright, let's have a look at the circular indentation. The indentation is shallow and smooth. It looks like it was intended to hold something specific. Okay, and the outer circle? Several shapes have been carved along the outer ring. Though most have been worn away, you can make out a crescent above the center. What about the writing? The characters are completely foreign to you, no doubt the remnants of some long-forgotten language. And then we can wait a while. Okay, I'll come back to that
I'll see what I can find.
another time. Let's go up around here.
And what does the
Ooh,
flame reveal?
Pigra. Okay. How many? 2. 3. 4. Okay. I think we can take 4.
Yes?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I?
Actually,
Yes.
I'm ready.
see if I can get a beam up on this one. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, of course he moves. Let's use that. Can I get in there? No.
That's not.
Alright, well, that didn't actually help too much. I'll try it again on the other one, but it would really just be to kill that one.
Huh?
Let's finish it with Flames of Devotion.
Yes?
Nice. And kill the Flame Blight now. What are they immune to? They're immune to Pierce, weak to Frost. So this is flooded. Le Aremen. Okay.
Laying low.
We're very low on health. What do we have over here? Pilgrim's Crown. A lioness. Okay. Let's follow the lioness. Ooh, Elder Lion, lioness. Okay. And a Delimgarn. Alright, hang on, let's... Oh, and a lion behind us. I think we can still take it.
I'm ready.
What?
Ooh, the Adrigan is not good though.
What?
I'm ready.
How may I?
Let's try. Cool. We'll use that.
Following your lead.
Shoot the Adragan there.
I'm ready.
Oh wow. Ah, that's not good. Maybe I should. Or at least got one of the lions on my side before I tapped out.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Following your lead.
Yeah, can't quite.
This isn't going to suck.
Another Elder Lion.
Aye?
Okay.
Rest up, big guy. We've got your back.
There goes.
How may I help? How may I help?
Blind the lion.
What?
I need something. No use.
Alright, no, I'll have to reload that one. Pulled too many. And too many kept coming. Maybe I have to clear them a little more slowly from the top of the map there. Pick them off one at a time or something.
Let's go.
Like, let's try and take that line out.
Yes?
I'm ready.
Yeah, cool. So that's like one less to deal with.
Hello. Hello.
Can you knock him down?
Aye?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Yes?
I'm ready.
Aye?
Cool. That's working better. Pulling all of them at once.
Be cautious. Be constant.
So that gets rid of some of them. Less lines to deal with means easier to take out that Adragan, which is the biggest threat in that group. At the bottom there. Okay. Alright. Admith's Weird. Barath's Bell. Springberry. And there's a corpse here. Dead adventurer with some money. Take that. Okay. So there's our elder lion. Lioness. Ooh. Tellemgan. Alright. can win this one, so I'll just quick save here.
I'm ready.
Alright. Let's knock that one down. Okay, go for that next. Don't know why Turin's there, but anyway. Do that. Come on. That one.
How may I help?
I'm ready.
Yes?
It's a bit loud. Don't like that, I'm about to get knocked out again. How did that lioness get past me? I'll just use this one. Now that helps.
How may I help?
I cannot see. We've got a rain blight and a wind blight.
How may I help?
Alright.
Following your lead.
Shoot that.
I?
Following your lead. What?
Bloody Moonwell. Need to kill that Adrigan faster.
My friends! Yes?
How may I help?
Following your lead.
Well,
I'm ready.
not a whole lot I can do while petrified. No, I have to try that one again. I need to kill that Adrigan. They're so painful to deal with. Even if I charm it for a little bit or something.
I'm ready.
Let's kill that.
What?
Huh?
How did that lioness get past Dare? Oh, he got charmed. That's just unlucky. Or confused, I should say. Alright,
I'm ready.
Following your lead.
shoot that one.
I'm ready.
Run here. You go there. There we go. Alright, now everyone's locked in.
What?
Now we can do that. Don't like how... Let's see if I can charm.
I?
Okay, the Adrigan's charmed. Use that one. Oh my god, I'm already at 1 health.
Following your lead.
How may I help?
Well, at least I charmed the Adrigan, that should help. Finish the
Following your
Dyrford.
lead.
Alright. Okay, nice.
I'm ready.
Actually, let's go knock that. Alright, cool. Now we can all attack him.
I'm ready.
That's not very well.
And now you can use this.
Following your lead.
Nice.
Aye?
Alright, Pallegina went down, but that's alright, we killed everything. Tough fight. I mean, we were low on spells and low on health, but still. Those Adrigans, what a pain in the behind. Alright, we should rest now, because otherwise we will die. What are Adrigans anyway? In the bestiary. They are Delimgans. Primordials. Right. May as well grab a primordial accuracy bonus. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Or damage versus flanked. Plus 10 accuracy, plus 10 damage. Yeah, I'll just go with accuracy. Alright. Rest here. Get everyone back to full health. Not the cleanest fights, but got through it in the end. And it is nighttime now as
And
well.
what does the flame reveal?
So let's see what else the Stormwall Gorge has in store for us.
Keeping an eye out.
Something here. Settler's Arrow. What's down here?
Laying low.
Okay, we can't go in there evidently, so whatever's over there is blocked off to us, if anything.
Nice and slow.
Another deer. That's it.
Let's see what lies this way.
Oh, the writing's glowing. That's interesting. I'll come back to that. Hiravias, okay. Come back to Hiravias as well. Let's just check out. I think we've cleared everything then. What does this do? The starlight illuminates a pattern in the ground. You kneel to get a better look. Okay, I've read that before. It doesn't look like anything's changed. We're still missing something that goes in the center there. Okay. That's alright. Alright, well let's go speak to Hiravias. Chewing on a piece of uncooked meat, a small Orlan, dressed in tattered leathers, offers a mumbled greeting and waves his hand. Despite his pleasant smile, the upper right portion of his face is in a sorry state. An eye patch stitched with the stylized eyeball wraps around his head, and his ear is a mangled remnant that twitches and spasms while the other ear perks up at your approach. Next to him is the splayed carcass of a deer that appears ripped open by a bear or wolf.
If this is your deer, you need a new game warden. Name's Hiravias. Hungry? I can't eat all this. First catch of the day, help yourself.
He smiles. Bits of sinew and tendon dangle from his bloody lips. His one good eye twinkles. Taking a step back, he spreads his arm wide, presenting the carcass to you. You might want to cook that first.
And ruin the original texture? That's the best part! Haha! Just see for yourself.
He chuckles and wipes deer bits from his lips. Turning his attention to the corpse, he plunges his hands into the deer's vivisected abdomen.
Eat up!
With a smile, he holds the truncated end of the beast's innards in front of you. After you. His one eye locks yours, and he tears off several inches of intestine with one ripping bite. He slowly chews, his eye squinting at you.
So delicious. Now I know the deer had elderberries for its last meal. Are you sure you don't want to try some?
He says as he smacks his lips and mumbles while his face winces. He diligently chews and swallows the offal with a forced smile. What killed that deer?
One ornery Stelgar. Though looking at the deer's insides, it had a malformed but delicious heart, and would have been dead within the year regardless.
He chuckles and scratches the stump of his half-severed right ear.
Gallowayne chose a fitting end for this fine animal. Pardon me, I shouldn't pray with my mouth full.
He bows his head to the deer, starts to breathlessly chant, but then stops abruptly. Tell me about Gallowayne.
Lord of the Hunt, patron of all seekers. I'm the wrong person to ask.
His voice falls flat. He brushes his hair aside, allowing closer examination of his eye patch. A stylized pattern of an eye is embroidered on the worn leather.
As a child, I would worship Gallowayne in hopes of being a great hunter. But I have since come to know Wow, he who sees and is not seen.
Tell me about Weil.
Weil is the god of mystery and obfuscation. Weil does little to intervene, dictate, or limit our actions. But nor does he make himself easily known. I would say I contemplate Weil more than I follow or serve him.
The Orlan smiles, opens his mouth as if to speak, and then falls silent. Okay. Well, what brings you here?
Other than the delicious venison, new trees to document, new animals to sketch, new sights to be seen. I've learned as much as I can from the druids of my circle. I'd rather wander and learn than take root and stagnate.
Okay.
So if you're traveling to Deerwood and need another set of hands, I'd welcome the safety of a group.
He gives you a toothy grin. And just what can you offer in return?
I'm trained by the celebrants of Hawk and Ivy of the Fisher Crane tribe. I know more than my share of nature magic, and, well, I don't shy away from a good fight.
An impish smile overcomes his face.
I have business with the druids that live near Twin Elms. So long as we find ourselves there eventually, I'm happy to follow along.
Alright, well, you're welcome to join us.
Splendid! It'll be an honor to run with a pack for a change.
He darts forward and grips you by the sides. Alright, well, I will, for the moment, dismiss Paladina.
Gores.
We'll take Hiravias. So, Hiravias is a druid who can spirit shift into a Stelgar. Which I guess makes sense, because that's what killed the deer. So, what has he got? He's got fine leather armor, which is minus 30% recovery speed. He's got a fine spear, and then a fine wand. Well, I may as well give him some stuff. What can I give him? I'll just give him the talk of the falcon's eyes. What else can I give him to use? I think instead of the spear, I'll give him Dil Uin Dibitar, the unique club, and maybe the shield, and I'll give him this bow instead of the wand. Persistence. Or should I give him dual wielding? It's fast. 11 to 17 crush damage. It's also fast. Pierce damage. Could give him Oidracht. So he restores damage as endurance. Let's give him that. As for what else do we have? Ooh, maybe Drinking Horn of Moderation actually. +2 intellect while above 50% endurance. That might be better, but I might be able to give him something else. I'll leave it then for the moment. And as for armor, he can wear Brundle's Finery for +2 intellect, Sun-Touched Mail of Hiran Wrath, Pelagina's Breastplate, or Adair's Saint's War Armor. Maybe I give him the Sun-Touched Mail for the moment. Although that's quite high recovery. I'll give him Adair's armor for now. Beyond that, I don't really have too much to give him. I'll leave him without a helmet, I think. Yeah, okay. There's not really anything else I can give him for the moment. I think that's fine. Do we have enough now to increase the quality? No, we need 4,200. That's okay. Alright, so that's Hiravias. I think that'll do. And we have to level him up now.
Need something?
So he gets spells as a druid. I like that he does shock damage, so I'm thinking I'll lean into that. So, give him points in survival. And Wild Strike, Burn, Corrode, Freeze, or Shock. So the druid's knowledge of the forces of nature allows him or her to automatically inflict additional burn damage when spirit shifted. I think we'll get Wild Strike Shock. And we get some more spells. I'll have a look at those later because you don't get to pick them. I'll get some athletics points for second chance or whatever it is. Ooh. Modifies Wild Strike Shock to give plus 15% damage as shock. Yeah, I'll grab Greater Wild Strike Shock. And I'll get that so we can get that. Actually, I don't really need that. Just hang on to the points. Okay, we get one more talent. Apprentice's Sneak Attack would be good. I'm not worried about weapon focus so much. Savage Attack could be good. dual wield attack speed could be good. Level is this? 6. Burn damage reduction, 20% burn damage. I think we get Heart of the Storm for the extra shock damage. That would make sense, I think. Yep, let's do that. I'll just save the balance of the points. Alright, and maybe now we can either get Apprentice's Sneak Attack, or we can get 2 weapon style. I think we'll get 2 weapon style. Because that'll affect him when he's spirit shifted as well. So we'll go with that. Alright.
Need something?
That'll do.
Huh?
Cool. Alright. So that's Hiravias unlocked. Have to see how he fares in combat. But the druid spells are pretty cool. They've got some good ones here. Like Dancing Bolts, Blizzard, Burst of Summer Flame. They've got a lot of good AoE spells. Swarm of Insects, Infestation of Maggots. There's some cool ones. Twin Stones is cool. But yeah, we'll use those in combat. We'll get familiar with them. I think we've cleared the Stormwall Gorge. At least as best we can for the moment. So we will go to Dyrford Village. Take us 6 hours to get there. Oh, I forgot to ask what Kana thinks of Stormwall Gorge. That's right. Well, let's ask him what he thinks of the village here.
Yes, my friend?
Do you know anything about this place? We are, as they say, off the map. Off my map, at least. I have no idea where we are. Isn't it exciting? I guess so. Let's speak to Hiravias as well.
As a peripatetic loner, I'm not privy to the latest news, but the Hollowborn Children is a tale that has reached even my reclusive ears. Or, rather, ear.
What do the Glanfathan Druids think of this plight?
It's been a long time since I've spoken with my circle. They'd probably tell you what I'd tell you. This plight was most certainly the consequence of someone trespassing into Engwithan places, not meant for folk. I mean, what else other than the gods could inflict punishment of such impressive scale?
He looks askance and shrugs. And what are your thoughts on the Hollowborn?
Anytime a life is separated from its soul, I wanted to pretend it was just a rumor when I first heard of it.
His eye meets yours, and his usual default smile becomes a frown, and his voice trails off. He has several starts and stops before finally deciding how to finish his thought.
In my youth, I'd curse the dear Woodens for being ignorant to spoilers that breed out of control. But soulless babies? What heartless gods would inflict that kind of tragedy? No parent or child deserves to be a part of that horror.
Let's talk of other matters.
Need something?
He asks you with a raised eyebrow. Can we discuss our party members? Alright, well, that's interesting. But tell me about yourself.
My second favorite subject.
He runs his fingers through his scalp, preening his fur.
What would you like to know?
How did you come to be trained as a druid? Hiravias thumbs his half-shredded ear and thinks to himself for several seconds. It wasn't entirely by my choice. Not at the start, at least. My ambition was to be a hunter. I merely arrived by a different trail. As a child, an Anemphath came to visit. An honored guest is occasion for a grand chase, but I was left out, instructed instead to be a cupbearer to the old wise one while the rest were on hunt. I'm sure you can guess what happens. Wise Anemphath gives dumb child a shred of attention. We ended up talking until the hunters returned. He gave me. His hands dart across his body, scouring the pockets and folds of his tunic. This, he presents a rusted iron medallion fashioned in the likeness of a hound's head, a common icon among the frontiersmen, explorers, and other seekers faithful to Galloway. The Anemphath insisted I be trained, and none in my village would defy him. Now, he smiles broadly, I don't need a bow to hunt. Where are you from originally?
My mother's crotch. You?
What a coincidence. I also came from your mother's crotch.
For the record, only I'm allowed to insult my mother. But I respect your dedication to banter, so I'll let it slide. This time.
He narrows his one eye at you.
I grew up in Glonfoth, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glonfoth many times.
And what's the story behind the symbol of whale on your eye patch? Whale is known as the eyeless face, so his symbol seemed a good fit for my eye patch. He absent-mindedly runs his finger along the strap of the patch band. Whale iconography is rather popular in my home tribe, but it seems he is not as widely venerated here in the Dyrwood. I remember thinking that if I consecrated my eye to he who obfuscates and reveals, then maybe with enough devotion, Whale would make use of old ruined things. Use of the old ruined thing. He pulls on the eye patch strap and lets it go with a loud snap. So if you think you see me staring at rumps and cleavage, it's really just the will of Whale controlling my gaze. Honest. Okay, and what's your relationship with Galawain? I was raised as a disciple of the Seeker God. He is the champion of the hunt, be it the simple struggle for sustenance or the scholarly pursuit of knowledge. In my older years I've found... He cuts himself off, shakes his head and starts again. Life has shown me I am more suited to the ways of Whale. The furious hunt for knowledge often outpaces the journey to real understanding. Druids are known for changing into animals. What sort of creatures can you become? He takes a half step backward as you ask the question. All sorts of things, he says quietly, with a long, uncomfortable gaze. Hiravias stares at you, blankly, arms folded. Let's discuss something else. That's an unusually terse response from you. What are you holding back? I'll go with the intellect one. Any man with your scars has a story to tell. I'm just going to ask you later if you don't tell me now.
Yes, I suppose you should know.
He grips his forehead and turns his face away from you.
I struggled with spirit shifting, the final rite of passage in my druidic training. I prayed to Galawain for insight and, in the style of seekers of old, went to the forest, alone, to ask for guidance. Then I got my answer, an answer at least, in the form of a vibrantly colored Stelgar that pounced from the underbrush and made a salient demonstration of its capacity to eat things 1/15th its size.
Well, as awful as that sounds, it's one amazing rite of passage.
Well, Oh, you actually meant that. Thanks. My kin didn't find anything positive about this tale.
He shakes his head, blushes and looks down at his feet with a smirk.
As the beast was lopping off bits of my handsomeness, I remember trying to fight back, swinging with arms too short to reach. I felt I had the energy for one last swipe at the beast's nose, and when I lashed out with a punch, my arm felt twice as massive, and my fingers sprouted talons. In a rush of power, I shifted into a mirror of my assailant. Apparently, he couldn't pick on someone his own size. By the battle's end, his severed arm was in my maw. The beast limped away in defeat.
That's quite an impressive tale. I thought learning to spirit shift would win me some respect. Maybe trap myself in a Diran lass with a lust for little men. Alas, I might have been better off staying a novice. When I wandered back to my village, they saw my wounds and asked what happened. I showed them. The name they called my form was the Autumn Stelgar. And his mouth opens, but he hesitates for a long moment before choosing his words. They were not impressed. The Riau of my circle believed the Autumn Stelgar to be a heinous abomination. It is said that if it eats you, your soul is invariably lost. As this was my first and most intuitive form, they deemed me a carrier of its evil. Even though I never so much as threatened my kin, I was ruled unfit and cast out. Hiravias sighs, scratching his scarred face. I don't know what message Galawain was trying to send. The only lesson I learned was that the Seeker God will punish you for seeking. Oh, that's interesting. So you're some sort of soul cannibal? Hiravias stares at you with a frown before covering his face in his hands. No, he mutters. At least, I think not. I've never actually sat down and eaten an entire person to find out. I'm not that curious to find out. So you didn't choose your spirit-shifting form? No, he says with a huff. It chose me. Or so I imagine. I always assumed I would shift into a stoat. Seems more true to my nature. He points to the embossed pattern of whale on his eye patch. As the obscured teaches, when the answer is inscrutable, one must be content to ponder the question. Were you at least recognized as a proper druid? His brow furrows. No, but I know I passed an initiation rite 5 times more perilous than any of those kin betrayers that insisted I was a failure. Can you learn to spirit shift into something less terrifying? Already can, and sometimes do, he says with a beaming smile that quickly returns to a scowl. But the druids of my circle assign great meaning to one's first form. I'll always be unclean to them. Oh, thanks for sharing your story, Hiravias.
Well, if you don't know me, you can't trust me. And if you can't trust me, odds are low you'll leap in front of a flying arrow to save my life.
He blushes and tugs at his tunic.
I've been meaning to visit the druids of Twin Elms to see if they know more about my spirit shift. If our journey takes us there, perhaps they can enlighten me with more information about the Autumn Stelgar. But for now, maybe we can talk about something less depressing?
He clears his throat and puts on a pained smile. I want to hear more about Galawain and Whale. He stares at you blankly with his one eye. Oh, not sure what more there is to say on the subject, unless you were itching for a religious debate. What more can you tell me about Galawain? A frown overcomes his face as he ponders your question. Consider it a lapsed devotion. I will always respect the Seeker God, but he visited ruination on me when all I sought was knowledge, just as he taught it should be. He meshes his fingers together and flexes his digits until the joints pop and click. Galawain left his mark on me. When I see my shifted reflection, I'm reminded of his presence. Galawain still inspires my fear, just not my worship. Unless a man would accept the indignities of the gods and ask for seconds, good on you for walking away from Galawain. If a god gave me a task and then crippled me for following instruction, I'd be as angry as you are. I think I'll go with this one. Unless a man would accept the indignities of the gods and ask for seconds, good on you for walking away from Galawain. His cheek turns red and he nods in agreement. Wish my kin saw it that way, but I guess I value my self-respect over the gods. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. Alright, let's speak something else. Tell me more about Whale. Tell me about your thoughts on Whale. I came to know Whale in earnest in the first year of my exile. I asked myself why Galawain would punish me for asking questions. What just and fair god would punish me for doing as he asks? Questioning why I had been mauled just drove me mad. At the height of my worry, I would have dreams where I only saw with my injured eye. My healthy eye became blind in my dreams. He lifts up the eye patch to gently itch at the socket. You catch a quick glimpse of a puckered and scarred abscess under the whale-embroidered patch. So one afternoon I stitched a stylized eye motif on the patch. I like to think of it as my self-initiation rite into the Brotherhood of Whale. Whale is not an instructive or overbearing deity. He does not freely dispense wisdom, and expects all of us to question and explore with our own minds. Whale reminds me that curiosity is being receptive to any and all truths, not hunting for any one answer. It's praying to Whale. Has Whale ever actually spoken directly to you or sent you a sign? No, never directly, he says with a smile, which is as it should be, given what he represents. I especially like how Whale never sends wild beasts to maul me, but maybe I have low expectations of such things. Oh, thanks for sharing. Should be on the move. And thank you for listening, he says with a slight bow, before falling into marching order behind you.
Need something?
Does he have any more to
something?
say?
My second favorite subject. What would you like to know?
We'll talk of something else. Yeah, tell me about Eric Glanfarth. It's a verdant land of history, culture, and natural beauty. His voice falls into a half-whisper as he adds, and we already have enough unwanted trespassers, so I recommend you never visit. Do you miss it? Used to, he says with a slight frown. He scratches his shredded ear and looks eastward. It's home. I'll go back eventually, but... He turns his attention to his shoulder and picks a small seed from the fibers of his tunic. See this? He holds up the seed. I know, just a seed, but I've never seen this type before, and I'm itching to find out what grows from it. Every day I see something new out here. I'll return home eventually, but for now, my curiosity exceeds my nostalgia sevenfold. Why should I avoid Erglanfath? He looks at you, puzzled. There are no cities to visit, no centers of commerce to explore. It would seem most visitors come to our lands to pillage the Engwithan ruins. The ancient Engwithans gave the forest to our ancestors, and in return we watch their ruins and see to it that they remain untouched. And before you ask, no, we don't have a secret passphrase or hand gesture. Nobody enters the ruins, not even the guardians and watchers. What can you tell me of your tribe? I'm from the Fisher Crane tribe. Most of my people live far to the southeast, in and around the Thane Bog. He weaves his fingers together and cracks his joints in a flexing motion of wet snaps. The tribe is not one of great renown, but we... Hiravias paused for a moment. They protect their lands in accordance with the sacred oath of old. Getting tongue-tied. And as much as it pains... There shouldn't be an it there. And as much as it pains me to say it, I wouldn't want any other tribe's name attached to my own. Did you grow up in a bog? Only briefly. Here, let me show you something. Don't commit any of it to memory, please. Hiravias rolls up his sleeves and shows you his forearms. The soft brown fur of his arm is lined with faint stains of henna and scar tissue. This is where I grew up, on the migration trail. I had it marked on my arms during my training. While much of the tribe guards the Thane Bog year-round, many of us, including the Circle of Hawk and Ivy, honor the oath by patrolling lesser-known ruins scattered throughout the lands. He points at several of the henna crescents on his forearm. We eschew houses, take only what we can carry, and move camp every 2 moons to ensure that all our sacred sites are visited at regular intervals. This nomadic patrol is how my druid circle came to name itself. We circle and protect like hawks, but we only ever perch on the ivy of the ruins. That is, nearby trees, never to enter the builders' lairs. And why aren't the Fisher Cranes well regarded? Because the other tribes are insufferable sibling spawn. He grins broadly and stares at you for several silent moments. I suppose the Fisher Cranes have a reputation for being passive and reluctant to fight, which is another way of saying the other tribes fight hard while we fight smart. Our namesake, the Fisher Crane, is a marshland raptor that remains stark still from sunrise to noon. We are invisible stewards of the land and patient hunters of those who trespass. The 3-tusk Stelgar tribe see our methods as soft and unbecoming, but I hear they use the same word for cousin as they do for whore in their dialect. Just an observation. Could you join a different tribe? Hiravias frowns and shakes his head. There are tribes that would take me. The twice-split arrows adopt outcasts like myself, but their ways are not my own. Some of them even live under roofs. How obtuse! He looks off to the southeast and sighs. I long for home. Not just any home. But Whale has made my wanderings fruitful, and I accept that it may not be until my soul passes that I rejoin the Fisher Cranes. I had some other questions about Erglanfath. Aren't most Orlands in Erglanfath wild?
Wild? Yes, I suppose all of us were a bit wild as my tribe was migratory and we didn't live in permanent houses.
His voice raises an octave in indignation.
But I understand what you're trying to ask. Yes, a slight plurality of Glanfath and Orlands have forest plumage. Growing up with meadow plumage, I was assumed to be weaker than others my age. The huntmaster of my tribe only chose apprentices from the forested kin, or rather, wild Orlands, as they're called amongst slave-owning bigots, as well as bigots too broke to own slaves.
Hiravias mockingly clears his throat.
I grew up in Erglanfath, specifically in and around Thane Bog. My people, the Fisher Crane tribe, are migrant stewards of the land. I've walked the whole of Glanfath many times.
Some other time. Hiravias shrugs. Your loss.
Every time I shapeshift, I
something?
wonder why I bother wearing clothes. We can speak another time. Lead the way. Need something? Need something?
Alright. Actually, there is a bit more to ask here. What do the Glanfathans think of the Dyrford and its people? Hiravias spits. Foreign looters obsessed with wealth and wine. May their bowels be obstructed with pus-weeping nodules, every one of them. His scowl lingers and he scratches at his ear stump. Not that you're asking a neutral party. When I was an insufferable child, and I usually was, my parents told me Dyrwoodans would enslave me in this life and the next if I didn't behave. But I'm in their lands now, and I will, in the interest of academic fairness, admit that I've met several decent, mostly non-rabid Dyrwoodans. He looks askance and folds his arms. But my suspicion about them all being drunkards has proved entirely accurate. I wonder what great wonders they'd accomplish if they all sobered up.
I grew up in Glonfoth, specifically in and around. What would you like to know?
Nothing for now, but
Need
I'd
something?
like to know
Need something?
what you think about our party members.
Curious about your compatriots? Whom in particular?
Hiravias steps in close and speaks quietly. What do you think of Adair?
He's nasty, brutish, and tall. So, 2/3 like me, I suppose. The circumference of his neck exceeds the circumference of my torso at its thickest point. They sure do breed them big and dumb in the Dyrwood, don't they?
Hiravias chuckles, and his voice falls gravely quiet.
No, I'm being a brat. Truthfully, I think the guy's a lot more gentle than he pretends. He's certainly got a big heart for animals, at least, which is rather telling of who he is under that soldier exterior.
Hiravias smiles and scratches film off his teeth as he studies your reaction. What are your thoughts on Pelagina?
Her zeal is sincere, and I can tell you she's destined to die on her feet. And she's easy on the eyes. Can't fatten a thoroughbred, that's what I always say. I just wonder if she has a cloaca or not. Ooh, the curiosity's killing me.
His voice becomes a new whisper as he adds that last part. Cloaca?
Yeah, cloaca. It's a combination feces chute and happy slot. Birds usually have these hybrid holes, and I figure she might too. What? Don't look at me like that. We can speak another time. Lead the way.
Hiravias nods. Okay.
Need something?
Say
Need
anything
something?
about my other companions?
Curious about your compatriots?
Yeah.
Whom in
What do you think of
particular?
Aloth?
Oh, him? Him I don't mind too much. Though I could pitch a tent with the pole wedged up his anus. I could smell something funny on him. 2 cents? Not quite. Well, whatever it is, take note of his mood swings. I don't think he's unstable. I just think he has a lot going on up there.
Hiravias snorts and wipes his sleeve across his nose. And any thoughts on Karnarua?
Oh, I think I could fit 3 of me, plus a remainder of a 4th Hiravias inside that giant. Gods, am I glad he's friendly. And between you and me, he has a better singing voice than the prettiest lasses I know from my tribe. It's 1 part unsettling, 2 parts arousing. And it makes me wish I still had both ears.
Hiravias chuckles and scratches at his ear stump. What about Durance?
Oh, love at first sight. It's like wow carved an ever-changing gash in his brain, and every hour he's a different flavor of angry. Durance makes me feel like I'm the sane one. He smells like fear in the mornings and rage in the afternoons. I'm keeping my eye on him. He's a laugh, but he might someday be a problem.
He scratches his eye patch and chuckles softly. Alright, that's all for now.
We can speak another time. Lead the way.
I think that's everything that Hiravias has to say. So, we are in the Dyrford village. Let's have a look around. What do we have here? How long do we got to stand out here? Until we find her, so keep your eyes peeled. Who are you looking for? We're cooling our heels until Medreth says the job's done. Us? We're just minding our own business. As soon as we catch her, it's back to Defiance Bay. Talk with Medreth. Alright. Hello, Medreth. An elf idles by the road, watching the village across the river. He nods as you approach, and the cowled figures standing near him fall silent.
Hello.
Greetings, friend. A slow smile forms as he eyes you. If I'm not mistaken, you and I share a common acquaintance in House Dominel. Perhaps. He winks. Discreet. I can see why our mutual friends trust you. I'm here on a little errand. There's a thief hiding out in the village, an Orland named Nifre. She took something that belongs to the Dominels. I want to find her and get it back. What did she take? Does it matter? A tight-lipped sort like you should know how this works. And when you find her, what happens to her? He scratches his chin, a half-smile on his face. The Dominels believe in setting an example. They want to make sure nonsense like this doesn't happen again. He claps you on the back. But leave that part to me. So how do I figure into this? Simple. You're the smooth talker. All you need to do is find her and lure her out of hiding. My friends and I will take care of the rest. Sure, I can draw her out. He nods. She won't know you. It'll be simple. I've got a few more questions for you, though. Remind me who I'm looking for? An Orlan woman named Nifra. I don't know exactly where in the village she is, but there aren't too many Orlans around here.
Good day, stranger.
And what did Nifra do precisely? She stole from our friends, the Dominels, and they can't let her get away with something like that. Alright, well, I'll get back to it.
How do you do?
No luck with Nifra yet. Cat and mouse, find Nifra and lure her out of the Dyrwood. Okay. So we've got Temple
Nice
of
and
Barath
quiet.
here.
Laying low.
Of course.
Yeah.
Golden celery.
Shh.
Nice and quiet.
Keeping an eye out.
Alright, we'll go inside the Temple of Barath. Just have a look around. Selby. Flames dance amid scattered offerings. Keys, coins, and the tiny skulls of birds and mice are mired in the melted and hardened wax. You must be wanting Beodmar. He's out of town. I'm just keeping the candles lit until he gets back.
Nice and slow.
Scroll of boiling spray. Don't really need that. Okay, nothing in here. Alright, let's cross the bridge into town, I suppose.
Hello? Hello?
A word, traveller. I only require a moment.
Hello.
The guard sighs with relief as he looks at you. What are the odds? Stuck in this backwater only to meet the famed champion of Defiance Bay. Barath's wheel brings mercy today, indeed. His demeanor grows more serious. Perhaps you could help. I don't suppose you saw a young elven noblewoman on the road. I'm stuck in this wretched place with the rest of my unit until we find her. Who is she? Lady Alice. He bites his lip. She's the daughter of Lord Nestor Harrond, and she's gone missing. He sighs. Perhaps you could go speak with Lord Harrond at the inn. He'll be grateful for the assistance, and it could be the villagers will open up to you more than they have to us. Blood Legacy. Speak with Lord Harrond at the Dracogen Inn. If you find Lady Alice, escort her to the Dracogen Inn with all haste. Okay. Can't remember the last time we had a healthy birth in the village.
Keeping an eye out.
Hello?
Let's have a look
Hello?
around. Guess we'll visit the mill. Why not? The mill slowly grinds away at a trough of grain.
Worth a look.
Ahaha.
I'll stay out of sight.
Paradox. I'll take that. Thank you.
Light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
What are these villagers doing? Have you been to Defiance Bay? I heard there's no Hollowborn there. That lord staying at the Dracogan has just about worn out his welcome. Yeah, that's the inn there. Okay. Damn Gallowayne for monsters like that, and damn the rest of the gods too. A man paces angrily in front of a wrecked animal pen, his sun-weathered face twisted with ire. He's so wrapped up in his fury that he doesn't seem to notice you. Gallowayne slobbering beasts, blazing bloody effigy, thrice damned salty wench and her soggy. That's probably not the best way to pray to the gods. A fat lot of good they've done me so far. Just look at this mess. My pen ruined, and all but a few measly runts gone. Well, calm down, and tell me what happened. He bites his lip and closes his eyes. His nostrils flare with each quick, angry breath. Wife's always been telling me to mind my temper. Just breathe deep and count to 10, he sighs. An ogre moved into the area not long ago. Folk had been seeing glimpses and tracks out in the wood, but it seemed to be staying away from town, or so we all thought, until it made off with my pigs. Now everyone's afraid it's going to develop a taste for kith, if it hasn't already. Did you see the ogre take your pigs? What else would have destroyed my pen and made off with my herd? And at the same time, the rest of the village is seeing a 10-foot monster in the forest. He gives you an appraising look. I knew a few toughs like you during the Saints' War. Which is it? Blade for hire or raid for fun? I know it's too late to get my pigs back, but it had set my mind at ease to see that thing's head shorn from its neck. In fact, you bring its ugly pate to me, and I'll trade you for something that's of less use to a farmer like me than to a rowdy-looking sort like yourself. What do you know about the ogre? It's the same as any other, I'm sure. A big ugly son of a bitch with a nasty temper and an appetite to match. Treagle could tell you more. He claims to have seen it in the wood. You can find him in his shop, right by the broken tower. Need something else? I've been sent to find an Orlan named Nifre. Know where she is? Never even heard of her. Alright. Well, thanks, Rumble.
Well met, friend.
Any sign of that ogre, or its head? No, not yet. Find the ogre's lair somewhere in the wilderness outside Dyrford village. Well, I can't talk to the pigs.
Keeping quiet.
When these lords have problems, they blame honest kith. Typical.
Shh.
That's something we can pick up. Pilgrim's Crown. That lord will have bigger problems if his guards keep pushing us around. Harren's men already asked us about the girl. What more do they want? Winfrith's pleasant enough, but once you get him talking...
Nice and slow.
What's in this? Sure, take that. What do we have here?
Light, flame, and sound.
Black Swan. This is Winfrith's Arms and Armory. Okay. Have a look inside.
Nice and slow.
What's in this? Sveth. Let's speak to Winfrith.
Well met, friend.
A portly, smiling man stands behind a warped wooden counter, polishing a buckler. He looks up. Haven't seen you before. Always glad to see a new face in town. Company's good for business, and chatter's good for the soul. That's what I always say. Anyway, what can I do for you? What's been going on in Dyrford? Oh, we're a quiet little town. Not much happens here, especially not since the legacy hit. People realized they couldn't have babies and just stopped trying altogether. And that takes a lot of the excitement out of the day-to-day, if you can believe it. Alright, show me what you've got for sale. Tall grass, a pike. The hours of Saint Rumbold, a unique greatsword. Grudge Keeper, a unique rod. Ritesi's Thorn, a unique spear. A unique rapier as well. Not terrible. Angio's Gambison. Deleterious Alacrity of Motion, that's not bad. Minus 11 endurance. It might be okay for even 50% attack speed, that's quite good. Boots of Zealous Command, 20% Zealous Aura area of effect for Paladins. And Voice of the Mountaintop, 20% Chant area of effect for Kana. I don't think I'll buy any of that. But nice to know it's there. He has nothing else to say, does he? No. Welcome back. What can Winfrith do for you? Nothing. Farewell. So that's Winfrith.
So, Kana, what do folks in Rawatai do for fun? Aside from each other? Do you just gape at every shiny object that comes along? Or is that just what you do when abroad?
Tekoa may be more traditional, but it has its share of festivals. Drink a little wine, find someone to dance with.
Wine and dancing? Oh, guess I had it all wrong. So, no shark races and undersea orgies?
No, that's all true.
Most who pass through nowadays are refugees or bandits. Well, I am neither a refugee nor a bandit. You must have seen something. We've already told you we haven't. Stop peeking in our windows. Not many new faces these days. Most are eager to leave Dyrford. At least we're not under some tyrant like those poor sods in Gilded Vale.
And what does the flame reveal?
So we've got the inn here. She's been missing for days. You people can't keep stonewalling us. And you can't just barge into our homes. We told you, she's not here. Why does some highborn think we take his daughter? We've got enough trouble as it is. Used to be a castle here. We tore it down during the revolution. The roads are more dangerous than usual with that ogre about. I don't go out after dark anymore on account of that ogre. Hendina. Potions for sale. Potions and... Oh. Hendina's apothecary. That was weird. She stopped giving her sales pitch.
Gods keep you.
A young woman leans against a wagon. One arm and one side of her face are covered in bandages, with raw, rippled flesh showing underneath. A minty, tangy scent wafts from her dressing. She smiles painfully. Just ventured into town. I'm about dry on some of my stocks, but you're welcome to have a look-see. Why are your stocks limited? It's the damn roads. Can't reach none of my suppliers, so I'm stuck with whatever I can scrounge up in the wood. Deercap, river reed and the like. That's well and good, but most potions require something stronger too. Troll skin, vessel bone, what have you. And then there's the really rare ingredients. Things you'd never be able to afford, let alone find on your own. What did you find? Hendina winces as the rest of the story comes tumbling out of her. I've been keeping an eye on a drake's nest east of town, at Dyrford Crossing. The beast stayed just long enough to lay a clutch and moved on. Thank the Sky Mother it wasn't a full-grown dragon. She looks at her bandaged arm and grimaces. Fresh eggs are much more useful than the ones that get passed between merchants or left in nests for weeks or more, and that clutch looked to be at its peak. Thought I'd see about getting an egg, but I didn't realize so many of them had already hatched, or that young worms were so territorial. Oh, I could get an egg for you. She keeps her gaze steady, but you see hope kindling in her eyes and twitching at the corners of her mouth. I sure hope you're not leading me on. I don't think I could stand getting burned again. She bites her lip. If you really mean to go after it, I'd certainly pay you. Just remember, big as they are, dragon eggs are fragile, and there's a lot more I can do with a whole one.
Good day to you.
She adjusts one of her bandages. Anything else I can do for you? I've got some handy ointments if you're braving the roads anytime soon. How did you get burned? She turns her face to the ground. By the flame, how bad does it look? Just say it. I know you'll tell me straight. I mean, it looks like it hurts. She laughs ruefully. That's a mighty soft way of putting it. She sighs. I told you about my run-in with the worms. I reckon you put the rest together already. Yeah, true, fair enough. What's wrong with the roads? A noise of disgust rattles from her throat. Brigands, looters, you name it. The gods may be hollowing out our babies, but it's grown folk that's rubbing out the rest of us. People are scrambling to Defiance Bay because they hear there's healthy births there, and all those refugees and abandoned homes attract desperate sorts like flies on dog shit. Okay, I'm looking for an Orlan named Nifra. I did see an Orlan lady headed into the Drac again just the other day. She points across the road at the large building. Don't know what her name was, but she was acting real sneaky-like. Tell me about the dragon egg again. It's in a nest. It's in a nest what's perched in a cliff on the east end of Dyrford Crossing. That's out in the wilds, just east of here. I'm sure there are others elsewhere, but the one at Dyrford Crossing is just the age I need. If you head out that way, be careful. The place was crawling with worms when I went out there, and I can't imagine they've gone anywhere else. Okay, show me your wares. She steps aside. Sure thing. The shelves of her cart contain jars, vials, and bundled paper packets. Okay, so she's got a bunch of potions and some minor ingredients. Nothing too major or interesting. Get a dragon egg from Dyrford Crossing.
Welcome.
Anything else I can do for you? I've got some handy ointments if you're braving the roads anytime soon. No. That's enough. Farewell. I don't know what this is, so we'll just go inside, I guess. A ledger lies opened on the desk. It lists purchase and sale amounts for various alchemical ingredients and concoctions. Okay, it's a backer NPC. He's got
Found something.
Oh, there's a trap there. Okay, some gold. Nothing too major.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea.
Alright. So, what else do we have?
Can you smell the oily notes of brain fat in the air? Cured leather always makes me so hungry.
So hungry, okay. Treagle's Curriery. Alright.
Hello? Hello?
How may I help?
Elder Antelope Horn.
Yeah.
I shall be discreet.
This goes out of town.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places.
Dyrford Crossing is over there.
I shall be discreet.
So that's another area we can explore. I'll go inside there in a moment. Is there anything else behind the inn, maybe?
Light, flame, and sound.
Backer NPC there. I don't suppose you've seen a young elven noblewoman around these parts. Of all the places for that girl to get lost, why'd she have to do it here?
And what does the flame reveal?
Okay, can't go anywhere else. Alright, okay. Well, let's go into Triggle's Curriery. I can't find it anywhere. We'll talk about this later. Get back to the dyes. I'll take care of our customer.
Keeping an eye out.
Dyes fill the wooden vats. They smell of dung and plant matter. I'm not one for chit-chat, human. Speak to Triggle if you've got questions. Alright.
Welcome.
A sturdy, broad-shouldered man wipes his hands on his slacks. He reeks of the same foul compound wafting from the vats, and his arms are stained with dye. You looking to purchase some leather? How about you... Have you seen Nifra and Orlan from Defiance Bay? I make it a point to keep out of other people's business. He wipes a splotch of dye from his elbow with his shirt tail. Something else you need? What's in the collapsed tower? It's collapsed. Nothing. He rolls his eyes and shrugs. A few hides on stretching racks, and the tallow stench Dengler's always grumbling about. The rest of the keep's dust, just like the fool Lady Thanu who tried to hold it. There's a bard at the inn who'll tell you the whole blazing story if you want to hear it. Rumbold mentioned something about an ogre. He's hardly talked about anything else since those pigs of his went missing. The whole town's been worried about that monster. People are starting to see shapes in their windows at night, hearing its growl in the snoring of their mates. It would put a lot of minds at ease if someone got rid of it. He scrapes at red pigment under his fingernails. I sometimes venture into the wilderness, collecting ingredients for my dyes, mind you. I've seen tracks east of here, near the river. That couldn't have been anything else. Okay, and what have you got for sale? Oh, okay, you've got some armor. Girdle of Mortal Protection. Minus 27% crit damage taken. Troll hide belt, plus 1 endurance every 3 seconds. Farmer's plight. No, I'll just leave. Can I go in there? Stay out of my private quarters. That goes for you and Haron's bootlickers. Right. What's in here? Oh, that's the key. The key is stained by the dye in which you found it. Yeah, so it's for that, I guess. So that's something fishy going on there. We'll deal with that another time. Alright. Well, let's go into the inn. The Drake again in. I could have sworn I heard the ogre just outside my window last night. You did hear about the ogre, didn't you? Ate all of Rumbold's pigs. This table has been scarred and stained from decades of use. Have Haron's soldiers been harassing you too? People who can afford to are fleeing to the cities where the legacy hasn't hit so hard. Have you been to Defiance Bay? I heard there's no Hollowborn there. While you're in town, get some poultices from Hendina. The roads are dangerous these
I just want to
days.
find her. Surely even you can understand that.
We're decent folk, my lord. Perhaps you should leave and check the wilds.
The portrait depicts a man and a woman, dressed in a dire garb that would have been in style a century ago. The heavy frame has been battered, and the plate that once bore the patron's name has been scratched out. They share a passionate embrace, which seems at odds with the disgust on their faces. Sid. You'd think that having an ogre nearby would scare off some of the brigands. Can't remember the last time we had a healthy birth in the village. That lord will have bigger problems if his guards keep pushing us around. It's a shame that Augur took Rumbold's pigs, but what if it comes after us? Haron's men already asked us about the girl. What more do they want? Let's speak to Sid.
Greetings.
A redhead stands by the fire, tuning her lute and plucking its strings. She hums snatches of a melody as she goes. First time at the Drek again? Normally I'd have a song ready, but I haven't quite worked out this tune yet. I'm writing some chants about the founding of this inn. Say, you interested in the story? I haven't finished the chants, but I could tell you about it all the same. Sure, let's have it. Oh, excellent. These rustic fables are always great fun. Let me get out something to write with. It was built in the time of Hadret's rebellion, and Adiran Lady Thanu once had a keep here. One of the towers still stands, but the rest is said to be buried under the village. Anyway, she stuck to the side of the Empire, and a contingent of Duke Hadret's Knights of the Crucible helped the farmers and colonists in the area turn her keep to rubble. The inn was the first building that sprang up from the ruin, built with some of the same bricks the colonists had pulled from the Lady Thanu's castle, they say. Supposedly the quarterstaff of her chief wizard even got lost in the construction, mortared into a wall or nailed under a floorboard. Anyway, the inn was supposed to be a haven and a meeting place while the locals built their new town. What's a Lady Thanu? A Thane or Thanu is a man or woman who's part of the military elite. A knight, if you will. Typically, the position is inherited. A Lord Thane or Lady Thanu owns land and also commands several unlanded Thanes. The woman who last held the keep here came from a long line of landed Thanes. Okay, and what do you mean supposed to be? Dyrwoodens are an ornery lot, and the more these new neighbours met, the more they argued. They realised they didn't agree on much beside ousting the old lord. The biggest divide was over the Glanfathans in the nearby ruins. Hadret's knights and their supporters wanted to keep the peace, but a group of misfits with more anarchic learnings that had formed in town wanted to go after the tribes the same way they'd gone after their lord. Soon the villagers were fighting with each other as much as with the Adirans. In the end, memories of the Broken Stone War and the War of Black Trees were fresh enough that the Duke's soldiers won the day. Most of the other villagers came around eventually, but some of the core troublemakers left to join the front lines of the War of Defiance, and others, I've heard, found their way into the Guided Compass, the most forward-looking of the Glanfathan tribes. I don't know if I believe that part myself, but it makes a good story. She points to the east wall. There's a portrait of one of the chief rabble-rousers and his rival in the peacekeeping faction. Someone's idea of a joke. I don't think they were particularly amused. Tell me about the Broken Stone War. That was the first major conflict between the original Adiran settlers and the Glanfathans. Happened 3 years into colonization when some farmers knocked over an Adramenir that was part of an Ingwithan ruin. The war didn't last long, but it spread quickly and claimed thousands. In the early weeks, most of the colonists didn't even realize there was a war going on until the Glanfathan raiders hit their villages. There'd been small, spontaneous skirmishes between the colonists and the locals before then, but this was organized, and it was the start of decades of violence between the colonists and the Glanfathans. As you can see, Dyrwood's full of history, even in little villages like this. And tell me about the War of Black Trees. It started back in the colonial days, almost 30 years after the Broken Stone War. Even though isolated conflicts still broke out between the settlers and the Glanfathans, both sides had officially agreed to peace. Edrang Hadret, Admeth's father, was Gref at the time. As part of peace negotiations, he'd signed treaties prohibiting Adiran colonists from looting Ingwithan ruins. However, he'd been unable to outlaw the use of captured Glanfathans as slaves. What's a Gref? A Gref is the governor of a colony and is subservient to the Adiran emperor. The early leaders of the Adire colony in the Dyrwood, including Edrang and Admeth Hadret, were Grefs. At the start of the War of Defiance, Admeth Hadret declared himself Duke of an independent Dyrwood rather than Gref of the Emperor's colony. It was the same term used for leaders of the newly independent Valian republics. Anyway, we haven't had a Gref since. I see. Indeed, the taking of Glanfathan slaves had continued to be a source of conflict. It came to a head when Imperial agents, aided by certain earls in the Dyrwood, began looting the ruins again. See, the Empire had never actually agreed to Hadret's treaties on the matter, and the recent secession of the Valian republics likely left them eager to weaken Hadret's position. The looting sparked a brutal slave uprising and a guerrilla campaign among the Glanfathans. Edrang Hadret was too old to lead forces into battle, and so he sent his son, Admeth. Admeth made a costly but effective decision that ended the war faster than anyone could have imagined. He burned the forest near the Isaean River to keep the Glanfathan warbands from retreating. Thousands of Glanfathans died, and as Admeth repeated his scorched earth tactics in the following months, he wore down the remainder of their forces. To this day, over 150 years later, there are still sections of the Dyrford where the trees are nothing but bare, charred trunks. Interesting. Farewell.
Hello.
Back to hear about the founding of the inn? No, perhaps another time. That was interesting, though. Hello, Yorn. Why, it's you! Thank you, friend. You've given me another chance, and I mean to make the most of it. I've been telling everyone around here about how you helped me. Oh yeah, he was the dude in the sewers, in the catacombs, in Copper Lane. Thank you again. Dyrford may be a quiet place, but I find that's growing on me. Oh, good for him. Speak to the innkeeper, Dengler.
Hail and well met.
The innkeeper digs inside a mug with a dirty rag. His eyes under his thick brows are tired but watchful. He gives you a quick nod as you approach the bar. Don't see many travellers these days. Something I can do for you. What was your exchange with that nobleman about? He looks up from polishing his tankard and glowers at the lord. Folk round here is decent. They mind their own business. You want to stick your nose in it? Go talk to him yourself. Okay. I have questions about Dyrford. He runs his rag around the rim of the mug. Ask, have you seen an Orland called Nifra? He jerks his head at the stairs. Twitchy lady, that one. Who lives in Dyrford? Not many anymore. Hard to keep people around when everyone here's birthing Hollowborn. But we got a few who stick around and do business. Treagle's the leather courier. Hendina crafts potions. And Winfrith trades in general goods. Rumbold's a pig farmer. Or was, anyway. Okay. Tell me about Treagle. He's a courier. Treats leather and makes armor, and a few other goods with it. Problem is, the smell of tallow and deer shit tends to put people off their food, and his shop's right next door. And what's Hendina's story? Lady's a clever hand with potions and poultices. Got herself into trouble with a nest of worms, or so I hear. Her cart's on the east end of town. And Winfrith? Been around even longer than I have. Nice enough fellow, but never could find his way to the end of a sentence. His shop's across the square. And something happened to Rumbold's pigs, I take it. Damn ogre carried them off. Now he squeals more than his herd ever did. He shrugs. It is rotten luck. And let's go back to my previous questions about the Dyrford. Tell me about the village. Walk from one bridge to the next and you've seen it. We're quiet, hard-working folk. We keep to ourselves and don't take to being pushed around. He glares at the well-dressed man standing off to the side. Used to be a castle here, built by some family of Adiran Thanes back when the Empire first came. Only one tower is still standing, and that's part of Treagle's shop now. Sid, that bard by the fire, could spin you the yarn if you're so inclined. You said you don't see many travellers. Of course not. Why would they come here? We got bandits on the road and an ogre in the forest, as that yapping fool Rumbold will tell you. Worse yet, hasn't been a healthy child born here in over a year. Most kith that come here is just passing through. About that ogre. You don't hardly see him this close to town. Ogres and kith don't mix well. Ugly bastards, but they're smart enough to know that much. You want to know more? Talk to Rumbold. His farm's southwest of here. Now let's talk about something else. He places the clean mug under the bar and grabs another. Yeah? What food and drinks you've got? Okay. Oh, you got a little bit. I'll take the camping supplies.
Greetings.
And, yeah, what rooms do you have? He grunts in greeting. Still on your feet, eh? Make sure you close your window if you're on the side facing Treagle's shop. Ooh, dexterity, damage reduction, might, constitution, and intellect. Dragon's Lair. Lasts for only one rest, though. And then there's Drake's Den, which lasts for 2 rests, plus 1 might, plus 2 constitution, plus 10% damage against beasts. I like this Dragon's Lair one.
Gods keep you.
Who do we have back here? Pace. What are you doing in the kitchen? Dengler will get you sorted out with food and drink. Heavy, sweet perfumes emanate from the barrels. The stave joints are stained dark brown and dull
Keeping an eye
purple.
out.
Yeah.
Got beer there. Just want to have a look
Light,
around and
flame,
see
and
if there's
sound.
anything,
We'll keep to ourselves.
any hidden stuff anywhere.
light, flame, and sound. We'll keep to ourselves.
So I'll speak to Lord
Quiet.
Hound a little bit later, I think. This Skulder head looks as old as the inn. Its leathery skin is cracked and bleached from years of exposure.
Nice and slow.
Alright, let's go up.
Nice and slow.
This painting depicts a forested ravine somewhere in the Living Lands. Who's coming up the stairs? That must be Nifra. It's not him, don't worry. This painting portrays the expensive foothills below the mountains of White March.
Found something.
Hello, hello. We have here Paradox. The glass of this window is broken, warped. Warped, knotted planks have been nailed over it. And there we go, we've got the Guildmaster's Staff, which does crush damage and gives you restore minor endurance. Yeah, it's fine. I'll take it.
I'll stay out of sight.
Yeah, I've got it. Finished.
Take that, thank you.
I've got it. Finished.
Following your lead.
Alright. Well, we could speak to Nifre. The Orlan hovers by the window, peering out of it every few seconds. As you enter the room, she watches you carefully, her hand hovering over her stiletto. She cranes her head to peer behind you. Anyone follow you? Who sent you? What are you talking about? The man leaning against the wall glances out the door and nods to the Orlan. The hand over her weapon relaxes, but she's still watching you closely. Some old friends from Defiance Bay are looking for me. We're not exactly friends anymore, if you catch my drift. I'm just trying to lie low and mind my own business. Know what I mean? Boss. And Amawa looks at the Orlan and jerks his head at you. Alright, alright. She raises a hand to the Amawa before turning back to you. My friend here thinks you can maybe help us out. Now, I'm sure you're a busy man, so I'll make it worth your time. She flips you a few coins. Just go take a look around town. Come back and let me know if the coast is clear or if you see any suspicious figures. I'll report back if I find anyone skulking in a corner and cackling maniacally. You're pretty suspicious. What's this about? Sorry, but Medreth made a better offer. I'll go with that for now. I don't necessarily want to attack her right away.
Keeping quiet.
Okay. Let's have everyone stand outside. Except you.
Good day to you.
How's it look out there? See anything suspicious? Go east. Medreth's waiting for you just west of the river. Head west towards the temple. That way's clear. Who are you running from? Yeah, let's find out a bit more. Who are you running from? I'd rather not get into it. Suffice to say, I angered the wrong people back in Defiance Bay. I think we'll just kill her.
Need something? What?
I'll put you there.
Following your lead.
May as well put you there.
Yes?
Yeah.
Of course.
Hail and well met.
Sorry, but Medreth made a better offer. Spirit shift Hiravias. Knock Nifra down.
Following your lead.
Yeah, you can just shoot her.
Yes?
And I'll just get you to attack for
Need
a
something?
little bit. And Hiravias, you can can use. Wow, he did good damage. Returning Storm brings a powerful storm in being, striking a random single enemy in the area of effect periodically with bolts of lightning that stun and deal shock damage. I'll just use that.
Following your lead.
Okay, we can use that.
Yeah.
Damn. He's strong, Hiravias.
Needs
Seems strong anyway. Well, that is
on it.
Nifra taken care of. We get Night Runner, unique medium armor. Cool. Take that, thank you very much. And a faded grimoire. Merciless Gaze, Calicoth's Minor Blight, Stellaterius, Alacrity of Motion. I'll just take that into my inventory for the moment. So we got some experience for that.
Laying low.
That as well now. And we can go and return to Medreth. After all, you know, we're sticking with the Dominels. So I'm not going to betray the Dominels or help people who've betrayed the Dominels. Cool, so that is the top floor done. Maybe we speak to Lord Haron now, before we go back. The man wears Adire-style robes, simple but elegant. His fine leather shoes look like they were made for padding around indoors, yet they're caked with mud. He yanks at a lock of hair twined around his silk-gloved finger. His fine features are etched with anxiety.
My child is out there. Do they not understand?
My lord, we're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, these villagers...
Beasts take them all. I don't care how you do it, but find her.
I heard you arguing with the innkeeper.
A petty, small-minded man. Just like the rest of them around here. I've been paying him an honest fee for board and bed, and yet he can't be bothered to stir himself to concern for my Alice.
Actually, he seemed angry at you.
People from these backwater villages take offense for sport. You have to but show up with a full coin purse and they'll hear insult in the jingle of your step. They forget that Duke Hadret came from the privileged classes, as did all of the other earls and lords who financed the rebellion they're so proud of. I've asked around, but nobody in this mud hole has any concerns beyond their swine. They turn my men away like beggars and seem downright pleased to be of no use. But you're not one of my soldiers. And you look like you're used to getting your hands dirty, if you don't mind my saying so.
His guard leans in. My lord? A mercenary? Haron raises a hand to silence the man. If you find her, he nibbles the thumb of one silk glove. Tell her I won't be upset with her. She can come back and all will be well. I just want to make sure my Alice, my child, is safe. Nothing in the world is more important to me. Tell me about yourself.
I'm Lord Nestor Haron of Defiance Bay. My family has been prominent there since Imperial times. Our primary estate is on the outskirts of Brackenbury, but we have holdings in New Haomar as well. Those went to my sister and her husband.
I'd like to ask a few questions about your daughter.
Alice. Of course.
He blinks at you and licks his lips. Describe Lady Elise. She's a striking young woman. Bears more resemblance to her mother than to me. She has auburn hair and delicate, well-bred features. She must be, 28 or 29 now. Tell me about her disappearance. We'd stopped in Dyrford for a few days, on our 4th evening here. I was making plans to continue our journey. Lady Elise was feeling unwell and went to bed. When I retired a couple hours later, I found that she had vanished. None of my men had seen her go, and no one at the inn knew where she was. Since then, my people have been combing the village, but we've yet to find a clue, and the locals have been no help. Why did you and Elise come to Dyrford? It was merely a stop along the way to Ina's Rest. However, she took ill shortly before our arrival, so it seemed prudent to allow her a few days to recover. What's in Ina's Rest? He frowns, as if about to protest, but he gives in with a sigh. Lady Elise has reached an age where it is prudent for her to marry. Given this legacy business, I can't let her fertile years slip by, nor do I want her womb to fester in the presence of so many hollowborn. It seems there would be more potential suitors in New Hayamar or New Yarma. You think I haven't considered that? Arranging a suitable match is difficult. The best prospects for my child lay in Ina's Rest. Where's the rest of your family? Surely they wouldn't want to miss your daughter's betrothal. Lady Harond is ill-suited for travel, I'm afraid, and unfortunately, Elise has few other close relatives. My sister and her husband, Elise's aunt and uncle, of course, have been visiting Adira these past few months. He rubs his knuckles. And as for siblings, Elise has none. My wife has only given birth to hollowborn. Since Elise, that is. I see, but going back to your daughter, what about her? Let's go back to my previous questions. I think that's it. Alright, something more then. Go on then. No. Goodbye. Search Dyrford for information about Elise's disappearance.
Have you news of Elise?
He twists a silver chain around his wrist. No news. But I'm wondering,
Hail
should
and
I
well
ask?
met.
He grunts in greeting. Still on your feet, eh? Tell me about Lord Harron's daughter. He frowns and shrugs. His lordship says she up and went missing the other day. He wipes a tankard with his ragged towel, twisting it with swift, jerking motions. I don't know any more than that. However, these lording bastards handle their affairs. Ain't no business of mine. You look agitated. Something about this doesn't sit right with you, does it? He slams the clean tankard down on the bar. Damn right it don't. That lord saunters in here like he's cut from cleaner cloth than the rest of us, and yet... He shakes his head. Look, I don't want no trouble from you or him, or anybody else. I'm just waiting for him to tire of my ale and leave, so things can get back to normal around here. I won't stand by and allow an innocent girl to come to harm. Help me find her. He leans on the bar and sighs. That girl, Elise, she was looking to disappear. You should have seen her, watching the door like a sheep at slaughter. All the same, she didn't hardly speak to no one. Only folk I seen her talk to's treacle. He nods at the east window. His shop's by the broken tower. Bit of a hothead, that one. My advice is to let the matter drop. Like I say, it don't profit to dig around in other people's business. Alright. Thanks, Dengler. Farewell.
Good day to you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, okay. Alright. So that's everything he can tell me. What about Sid?
Hail and well met.
No. Aeon?
Yes. Have you news of Elise?
Elise.
No. Okay. Alright. So Treagle knows something, probably. We can also start building another thing. Another thing. Yes, we can. Question is, do I want to, or do I want to upgrade my pistol? Because I can finally now upgrade this to exceptional. To give it plus 8 accuracy and plus 30% damage instead of just plus 15. And I'll bring it up on par to the level I'm at. I think I will do that when I sell all this stuff, or some of it anyway, but for now let's just keep the stronghold building. So I guess we'll build woodland trails, hedge maze. I'll do the woodland trails. The woodland trails surround the domain of your keep. Upgrading them will grant both a constitution and athletics bonus when resting at Bright Hollow. And it'll also give some prestige and security, so take that. Alright. Okay, let's go speak to Hindina over here.
Gods keep you.
Actually, I'm looking for a missing noblewoman. Oh, that lord's daughter? She was a new shade of green when I seen her the other morning. Chatting with Treagle she was, just outside his shop. She points at the crumbling tower. What was wrong with her? She tugs at a bandage. No offense, but I hardly know you. I'm not one for gossip, and I certainly don't want to cause the poor girl any trouble. Lord Haron said she was ill from travel. She laughs. That weren't no road sickness. Trust me, I know it when I see it. Don't have enough survival skill for the last one, but anyway, thanks for the
Hail,
information.
traveler. Well met, friend.
Everyone's pointing to Treagle. Let's see if we can ask Winfrith what he thinks. And then I'll ask Rumbold, and then I'll go back to Medreth.
Welcome.
I'm looking for a young woman named Elise. That lord's got you asking around too, eh? He grunts. At least you ask politely enough. Bad enough having a small army move into town, but then they start throwing their weight around and telling you your business. He shakes his head and clucks. That's the problem with these lords. They think their money and their family name entitle them to some kind of special treatment. They expect everyone to fawn over them the way their servants do. No, sir. That's not the kind of people we are. Not in the Dyrford. We broke away from Madeira to get away from that kind of nonsense. If they think... we'll be diplomatic. I can certainly understand why you feel that way, but at the moment I'm just looking for his daughter. Of course, I was just getting to her. He clears his throat. I haven't seen her. Not since she went missing anyway. She mostly kept to herself. He shrugs and wipes at the buckler again. But you know how women are. Always carrying on, full of palaver once you get any two of them together. Perfectly harmless, mind you, I'm not criticizing. Just feels like they never run out of things to say. That girl seemed rather quiet. Downright shy, if I do say so. But even Hindina got her talking. Just goes to show you. Hindina, an alchemist, runs a small stand near the center of town. Talented lady, but she had a run-in with some worms not long ago. She's lucky it wasn't that ogre that's been roaming about. It took all of Rumbold's pigs the other day. Did you hear that? But don't get him started. He's still sore about the subject, and once you get him wound up about that ogre and his pigs, he just won't stop talking. Speaking of not stopping to talk, or not stopping talking, Winfrith does tend to go on a bit. Now we'll speak to Rumbold, and then Medreth, and then we'll go back to Hindina.
Well met, friend.
Any sign of the ogre, or its head? Seen any sign of Alice Haron? His hands curl into knobby fists. How many times do I have to repeat myself? I already told those snooping guards I haven't seen her, but that hasn't kept them from nosing around my property. No.
Welcome!
Maybe he'd be a bit more forthright if I killed the ogre. Anyway, let's speak to Medreth.
Gods keep you.
Well, any luck with Nifra? Let's ask about that. I'm also looking for a woman named Alice Haron. Have you seen her? Afraid not. I've just been watching for Nifra. Well, actually, I've already found Nifra. Good. Then the rest should be easy. And she's dead. Oh. He blinks. In that case, you have the continued gratitude of House Dominel. He fishes a coin pouch out of his cloak, as well as their continued support. And you have my thanks for getting me out of this mud hole even sooner. Farewell. House Dominel, moderate. Positive reputation. Nice. So that's cat and mouse done. And the waxmaker is completed. Sagani returns with 4,000 experience to Hellwax mold, money, items, etc. And all of us leveled up to level 9. That's good. Let's go back to Hendina quickly.
Gods keep you.
Okay, she's got nothing new to say. The Waxmaker. So, in the southern Adire province of Meganon, the wizard and inventor Galef spent decades creating devices that could mimic magical effects and properties. His fellow wizards viewed Galef's work with disdain, but one area of research intrigued even the elitists, a device that could replicate entire magical objects. The key to Galef's research was an enchanted mold. When Galef died of old age, his remote workshop was eventually plundered by southern barbarians who had been sacking the province for years. All of his work was believed to have been lost. Recently, an anonymous patron has been inquiring across the Eastern Reach for aid in recovering some of Galef's research notes, using leads that were discovered by unknown means. Sagani's patron was silent about the source of their leads, but the notes quickly proved to be valuable. A grimoire sale in the Kithwood and notes from a dead Red Seren wizard pointed the way towards 3 other wizards that were unwittingly performing research based on Galef's stolen notes. Spread out across the Eastern Reach, the wizards were amiable enough, but quite unwilling to part with their own extensive notes. After reporting back to the patron's servant, Sagani discovered that no additional services were required. It wasn't until after returning to Cardnoa that Sagani learned of the grisly deaths of the 3 wizards, all under suspicious circumstances. A short time later, a package arrived via guarded courier. It was addressed to Sagani, and the note inside simply read, "A gift," in an antiquated hand. So we get the Hellwax mold. This hinged mold has the amazing power to fully duplicate non-soulbound weapons, shields, armor, and other equipment placed inside of it. The immense magical energy required to fabricate the copy uses the mold for raw material and wholly consumes it in the process. So you can only duplicate one item. That's a shame. Well. Well. Alright, well, we might leave it there for this episode, guys. Next episode we will speak to Grieving Mother, speak to Treagle, and then probably go to the rest of the Dyrford area, Dyrford Crossing, have a look around what's there. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now. As always, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.